Hi, everybody. Craig Wessels here from Yank on the Footy, and just a quick Thursday-Friday review of the first couple games this weekend. And I got to tell you, many of you who listen to the podcast on a regular basis know I have this kind of unofficial grudge about Carlton and their decision to hire Michael Voss on that Thursday before the 2021 Grand Final when I was supposed to be on the Sporting Capital. So, while I feel a little guilty about not feeling too bad about their start this year, it's not as though I have any kind of karma or any kind of abilities or anything like that, but good God, this is way too talented a team to be playing as poorly as they are. They really are. Okay. And I don't know. I did not tip Collingwood to play in the finals this year, and they've played pretty darn good football for the most part this year. They're, I think, getting every last ounce of ability and grit out of some of their older players, Scott Pendlebury, Steele Sidebottom, etc. And it's just it's just fun to watch this club play. But I do have to address one thing about the Thursday night game, and that's Dan Houston, which from what I have gathered, he has been handed the opportunity for a 2-game suspension. And I have to ask those of you who've been following the game for a long time, and again, with the tribunal, nobody knows what the hell the tribunal is going to do anyway. I'll be honest with you. I think that whatever your favorite board game you played as a kid that had the little wheel that just spun, maybe like Wheel of Fortune. Well, Wheel of Fortune's a TV game show, but maybe you had something that had a little wheel on it. Maybe you played Chutes and Ladders, and you had to go from red to blue to green to yellow, or whatever the case may be, and climb up and slide back down the ladders or whatever. But how are they making these damn decisions? Come on. Dan Houston jumps into the back of the head of his opponent. And fortunately, he was able to stay in the game. He gets 2 games. Jackson Archer is running after the ball and has about, what did I say in a previous episode, 0.49 seconds, something like that, to stop making contact with a player's head who's decided to dive at the ball, and he's handed 3 games for that. Tribunal, please explain, because I don't know what the hell's going on with this thing, okay? To me, Dan Houston's decision was much more egregious than that of Jackson Archer. And I'm no Jackson Archer apologist, nor am I trying to condemn Dan Houston. But bottom line is, I think that Jackson Archer got absolutely screwed in this situation. And I'm not saying that Dan Houston should get 2 games, but Jackson Archer sure as shit should not have gotten 3. Okay, so Collingwood, I'm impressed by the way you're playing. You've got some players that have just absolutely started to work their way back in, and you're forced to be reckoned with. Again, as I said at the outset, I wondered whether or not you're going to be able to score enough points, and you've managed to do that thus far. Okay, now on to the Friday night game. And first of all, I want to say how much I enjoy Thursday. I listened to the first half of the game on SEN. And I truly enjoy listening to Gerard Whateley. I know not everybody's a Whateley fan, but I like the way he calls games. I went out of my way for several years before SEN was geolocated and blocked for me to listen to the Super Bowl with Larry Fitzgerald Sr. and Gerard Whateley. I would sync it in with the broadcast on television here in the United States, and I'd listen to Gerard Whateley's call because I really enjoyed the way he called that game. So being able to listen to the first half of the Collingwood and Carlton game with him announcing it, and then the Friday night contest, I just think he does a really good job calling the game. Now, I know he's a Geelong fan, and there was that one moment today when Brian Myers, I think it was Brian Myers, no, Brad Close, I believe it was, it had a kick that went just off the mark, and it was, and then we got the proverbial horseshoes and hand grenades comment. But Melbourne, you seem to be lost at this point in time as well. I can see the look of pain on Christian Petrarca's face. I feel for him. I know the effort that he went through to get himself back into playing shape and being ready to perform this year. And I just think that I don't know. I think that the Melbourne window is closing. I think the Collingwood window is going to be closing a little bit as well here very soon, but I think it's open for just a little while longer. And quite frankly, Michael Voss, how long is he going to survive? Is he going to get through all of 2025? Are they going to pull the plug on this regime, if you will, at Carlton? Because I can't imagine Carlton supporters being happy about this in any way stretch of the imagination. Because this is, like I said, way too damn of a club that, talent-wise, that should not be sitting where it is on the ladder. It's too good of a side. Now, back to the Cats and back to the Demons game. I got to tell you, again, we had another laid out. Mark Blitzav's out with illness. And I know people are, oh, there's Chris Scott again. Well, guess what? It's the way the rules are written. It's the way you're going to do it. If he's not feeling well, he's not feeling well. But I have to tell you, I got to tell you how impressed I am with young Mr. O'Sullivan, okay? And bringing in Reece Stanley, I think, was actually a stroke of genius. And to me, it was, in many ways, it's almost a bit of, kind of like playing 4D chess, if you will, because Stanley, he's a premiership ruck. Is he a top 10 ruck in the game? I don't know if he ever has been, but he does move well, and he's able to, in most instances, keep up with a player like Max Gawn out on the ground. He has that ability to do that, okay? He's not going to be that flashy player that's going to get you 40 hitouts, kick 4 goals in the course of the game, have 10 tackles, that sort of thing, but he's not going to embarrass you there either. And what that allowed them to do was it allowed to move Sam DeConing back into defense. And the idea of O'Sullivan playing out on the wing, I'll tell you what is he, 199, 198 centimeters? That's a big young man. 22 years old? And as he said after the game, he doesn't run like Mark Blitzavs, but I'll tell you what, he sure as hell looked an awful lot like Mark Blitzavs today. So, Blitz, I'm not looking forward to you not wearing the hoops anymore, but I think we're seeing a little bit more of the future with O'Sullivan playing out there on the wing, and it's a good thing. And I would be remiss if I did not give a shout out to my absolute favorite player on the Cats, and that's Zach Guthrie. And just his growth into the player that he is today is absolutely phenomenal. Because if you go back to when I started watching the game in 2016, I started following it more closely in 2017. I mean, I have a 2017 Cats team picture hanging up in my classroom, and he looks as young as he actually is. But that, I'm not even going to call him a young man anymore. That man has grown by leaps and bounds. And I'm just going to say it right now. I don't think I said it during my preview episode this year, but I'm going to put it out there right now. It's only round 4. But if he stays healthy, Zach Guthrie, pencil him in as an All-Australian. Do it. I think he's going to be one. Okay? He has come into his own, and he's become a player that the Cats can be so dependent upon. Okay? Yeah, they still have to figure out how to deal with not having Tom Stewart out there on those rare occasions that he's not there. But I'll tell you what, Zach Guthrie is a hell of a lot of fun to watch. Okay, and I'm thrilled that they got back on the winning side. Now the Cats they're running into an abattoir these next 2 rounds, because they go to Adelaide and then they're back at the MCG for the next 3 weeks, and they have Hawthorn coming up, and I know they have Carlton, and then Collingwood coming up, and or maybe it's Collingwood and Carlton. I'm not sure which order it's in, but my hope is that by the time they play Carlton hasn't figured out how to play football again. I hope they come into it as an ofer, quite frankly. Okay, I know that's not going to make a lot of Carlton supporters happy, but me being a selfish Cat supporter, I'm allowed to say that. So, folks, enjoy the rest of the weekend. This is going to be one heck of a game here on Saturday afternoon up at the Gold Coast. If you happen to be up there, Gold Coast fans, fill those stands today, because that is going to be one hell of a matchup with Adelaide. And as I said the other day, this might be a 2027 grand final preview. Okay, who knows? the way they're playing right now, it could be a 2025 grand final preview for all we know. But it's going to be an awesome game. I've been up since 3 o'clock this morning, 3:15 this morning, to watch the Cats game. That one comes on at 10:20 p.m. I'm going to do my damnedest to stay up and watch that one live. Cheers, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Having some fun, and stay safe at the footy. Until next time, Craig Wessels from Yank on the Footy. I do hope that you'll get subscribed over at my website at ayankonthefooty.com. And if you're on YouTube, please subscribe there as well. Turn on notifications when new episodes come out. I would love to share those with you. And until next time, cheers and goodbye, and may your dribble kick never hit that post.